what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. Today on the channel, guys, we're going to take a look at the AMD Adrenalin Drivers 23.11.1, and we're going to take a sneak peek at the Fluid Motion Frames preview drivers, which were just released the other day. So I know I'm a little late to the party for the vanilla drivers, but I thought since the preview drivers for Fluid Motion Frames have been released, we might as well do them together. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Alright, so first up we've got some new feature highlights, and it's always good to see that we've got a fair bit of game support in the new feature highlights. So first up we've got Modern Warfare 3, which just released yesterday here in Australia anyway, and it has got a little bit of a mixed reception. It's been in early access for a little while, but it seems as if it hasn't reviewed very well, particularly the campaign, which has been likened to a glorified Warzone map. I think it's actually Verdansk or whatever it's called. So you're just playing sections of that in the campaign story. So that hasn't gone down too well, but now you can access zombie mode and multiplayer and stuff like that. I know a couple of you guys were pretty excited about it last week when we did our New Games November video, so shout out to you guys. Did you guys get Call of Duty? Let me know if it's worth playing, because I'm still a little bit on the fence with it. So I was looking forward to the conclusion of the campaign, but that seems to be a little bit of a misfire. So you guys let me know if it's worth getting in the comments down below. Alright, next up we've got some game support for Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. And again, in last week's video I mentioned that this is a real blind spot for me, so can't give you too much information on that one, but we've got some Radeon support for that, which is good to see. So let me know if I should be playing Like a Dragon. I might swap this out for my COD purchase for the year and get into something new for once. What do you guys reckon? Alright guys, next up we've got some game support for a new game called The Invincible. So this is a new sci-fi adventure space game that has been developed by a Polish studio. So shout out to all our European friends there, and I believe it's based on a Polish novel as well. So it looks really interesting. It's like got a Starfield type of vibe. It's like a adventure survival game, so pretty interesting. Got some new support for that as well, so check that out. Alright, and finally in the game support we've got some new game support for JX3 Ultimate. Haven't heard about this one. Sounds like maybe it's a JRPG or something like that. Not familiar with it, but we've got some game support for that one. Alright, next up in the new feature highlights, we've got some Radeon Boost support for Alan Wake 2. Now, Alan Wake 2 is a pretty intensive title, so if you're using the preview drivers for Fluid Motion Frames, I'm not sure if it's supported or not, or if you're flicking on FSR3 and frame generation, flicking on Radeon Boost might really help you out with some frames. So it probably bring the latency down a little bit as well. So if you're struggling to play Alan Wake 2, it might be worth flicking on Radeon Boost and seeing if it has any performance difference. So I've tested out Radeon Boost when they updated the drivers a couple of videos back, and I had negligible, even some negative latency in games like Street Fighter and things like that. So I'm not sure how effective it is for GPUs other than the 7000 series, but it's there, so you might as well give it a try. So check that out as well. You can also, there is a link for Radeon Boost listed there, so you can check that out on AMD's website as well. Alright, last up in the new feature highlights, we've got AMD coming to the table with some improvements to AI and machine learning. We've got some DirectML improvements and optimization for stable diffusion in Adobe Lightroom, DaVinci Resolve, UL Polychron, AI workloads on AMD Radeon RX 600M, 700M, 6000 and 7000 series GPUs. That's pretty cool for me. DaVinci Resolve, which is what I use to edit these videos, has some new AI and machine learning features. So that might be worth checking out. So I'm really glad that they've done that with the 6000 series GPUs as well, but also the mobile GPUs for the 6000 and 7000 series. So if you're into your machine learning and your AI, there's some new cool features. So I think this is AMD trying to catch up with NVIDIA in the AI department. Microsoft has publicly said that they're looking for in their next hardware, machine learning accelerators, AI implementations, and things like that. So I think this is AMD kicking it into gear to make sure that they, get the get their chips into consoles and things like that, and start future-proofing all their hardware for the next series of the next generation of consoles and the next generation of GPUs. So, probably lagging a little bit behind, but it's a start. All right, next up, guys, we've got some fixed issues, and my guys, I gotta tell ya, my mind is absolutely blown, because first up on the fixed issues, we have performance metrics overlay may report NA for FPS on various games. It's fixed. They fixed it. Can you believe it? That has been on the known issues since we started computer games hardware. So it's been since May. That's been on there, and it's been on there well before then, but that's been on the journey with us. We talk about it being part of the furniture, so they've fixed it. The metrics overlay is working pretty well. They've done a lot of work on the metrics overlay, particularly for the fluid motion frames drivers. So I think they just put some elbow grease in and were able to work it out. So really good to see that we don't have to look at that anymore. Okay. Next up, lower than expected performance in Counter-Strike 2 on some AMD graphics products such as the Radeon RX 7600. So that was an issue from a couple of driver revisions ago. We know we had the theme bans that were happening on Counter-Strike 2, so that was a massive problem. So AMD have been working hard to rectify that, and that's come off the list too, so good to see there as well. Okay, next up we have intermittent flickering may be observed in Total War Pharaoh's menus after changing graphics settings. So that was a holdover from the previous drivers, so they've sorted out Total War Pharaohs for you. Alright, next up we've got Alan Wake 2, and there was an issue where intermittent flicker may be observed on some textures while playing Alan Wake 2. And I did notice this. I had a couple of flickers in my game, especially with FSR2 turned on, which I need to turn on now because Alan Wake 2 is a graphics powerhouse. Nonetheless, that has been reduced by a lot. However, they have introduced a new issue. So after I updated, I noticed that Alan Wake 2, there is a little bit of screen tearing. So a little bit of an issue there for Alan Wake 2. Alright, so they've fixed an issue in Baldur's Gate. Okay, so also they've fixed a issue with Baldur's Gate 3, where rebuilding shader cache may be incorrectly required when relaunching Baldur's Gate 3 using the Vulkan API. So that's pretty annoying, having to wait for the shaders to rebuild every time you're booting up and things like that. So glad that they've got that fixed for you guys. What do you guys think of Baldur's Gate 3? At the Joystick Awards, it absolutely cleaned up. I'm loving it. Yeah, I've taken a little break to get stuck into Alan Wake 2 at the moment, but loving Baldur's Gate 3. Alright, so same thing for Forza Motorsport. Rebuilding shader cache may be incorrectly required when relaunching Forza Motorsport. So don't know what's going on there. A couple of games needing some shader rebuilding. That's pretty annoying. If you've only got a half an hour to play a game and you've got to wait 10-15 minutes for shaders to rebuild, that'd drive me crazy. So glad that they've looked after that and fixed that one for you guys. Alright, another issue with Forza Motorsport where intermittent driver crash while viewing credit screen after finishing a race in Forza Motorsport. So that's a pretty annoying one too. Alright, and last but not least guys, intermittent black screen or code 31 error in device manager after reboot on some AMD graphics products like the RX 6700 XT. Yeah, obviously haven't heard of that one, but that's a little bit of a weird one. But it's been looked after, so hopefully that's smooth sailing for you 7600 users. Alright guys, let's get stuck into the known issues. So still got some of the greatest hits on here, and first up we have audio may be intermittently become out of sync with video while recording from AMD Software Adrenalin Edition with AV1 codec. So, you know, I've witched about that a couple of times now, so we won't get stuck into that too much. Next up, we have intermittent corruption may be observed on the racetrack while playing EA Sports WRC. So that's a little bit annoying. You might want to hold off playing EA's WRC until they fix the corruption in that title. Next up, we have stars may intermittently fail to appear while playing Crysis Remastered. Don't even know what they're talking about there, but that's a little bit of a known issue. What's that? Has anyone played Crysis Remastered? Let me know in the comments down below. Last but certainly not least, we've got a real weird one here where there is some intermittent micro stuttering may be experienced when running Chromium-based web browsers on systems that pair Radeon RX 7000 series GPUs with a second display connected to an AMD Ryzen 7000 series processor. That's really bizarre. They've had some Chrome-based issues before with black screens and things like that. Also, using the stimming tool, I've complained about that with the has screwed up. But when pairing 7000 series processors and GPUs, I don't know what the specific issue might be there, but that's a weird one to have. So, are there any 7000 series exclusive GPU and processor users that are having these issues? If you are, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments down below. How bad is that? Is it making like daily driving your PC a nightmare? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Alright guys, so we're almost there. So I'd like to take the opportunity to shout you guys out and say welcome to all our new subscribers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy any of our content or you like anything in the videos, please consider subscribing and give us a like. It really helps us out. We also have some Amazon affiliate links in the description down below. So if you're buying anything off Amazon and you want to use our links, that'd really support the channel too. Alright, last but not least guys, we've got some important notes, and again, we've got the greatest hits on here. So factory reset has been disabled while they look into an issue that they've been looking into since last year, so let's not go into it. But AMD is recommending users who previously installed the AMD Software Insider Preview fluid motion frame drivers that they use the AMD cleanup utility before installing the new drivers. So highly recommend you do that. And I know I've been promising it for ages. I don't want to hear it, guys. Okay, I will do it. Look, the only reason is because I have to work and do other things and got family and kids and, you know, keeping up with all the games and stuff like that. But if you get subscribed and I can make this my job, I'll do as many videos on DDU, AMD cleanup utility, everything like that. So if you want to see more content from me, get subscribed. Thanks very much, guys. Pretty good drivers, pretty stable. Let's have a look at some of the performance. Alright, so as you can see there, the performance on these drivers are pretty good, nice and stable, not running into any issues and getting some pretty high frames all in all. So pretty happy with these drivers so far. Looking forward to seeing what improvements they come in the next edition. Now, let's take a look at the Fluid Motion Frames preview drivers. Fluid Motion Frames is the AMD's implementation of frame generation, and it works with all its other assistive AI technology such as Radeon Boost, image sharpening, FSR and things like that. At the moment, I think it's only in supported games. I think there's 10 or 12 supported games at the moment, but if you want to check them out, I will put a link in the description below for these drivers if you'd like to check them out. And it seems like they've added some stability support in these Fluid Motion Frames drivers, so let's get stuck into it. Okay, so for the November 9 implementation of the Fluid Motion Frame drivers, there have been some improvements to driver stability during task switching, which was a big issue in the previous October implementation when you were coming out of games, even switching off the computer and stuff like that. It was crashing the drivers. People had to re-implement their overclocks and things like that, so it looks like they've fixed them. They've also had some improvements to resolve cases of AMD software Adrenalin Edition intermittently crashing or failing display metrics. So probably part of the reason why the metrics overlay has been fixed in the vanilla drivers is because they've been working hard to really have a good implementation in the metrics overlay in the Fluid Motion Frames. So if you'll notice, if you implement those drivers, you get a whole subset of logging and metrics overlay features. You can you get some extra hotkeys and things like that, so you can switch things off and on a little bit quicker. So it's pretty cool, and they've been working hard to implement those. So while they are preview drivers, and in my experience they are still pretty buggy, I'm getting real bad stutters, particularly in Alan Wake 2. It's almost unplayable for me in the 3 titles that I'm playing. So that's Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, Baldur's Gate 3, and Alan Wake 2. So drivers are not for me. I would prefer to stick to the vanilla drivers at the moment, hence why generally we only do the mainline drivers, but it had been a while since we'd done a review of the drivers. Were a little bit late to the party, so I thought I would chuck these in. So anyway, check out the preview drivers for Fluid Motion Frames, particularly if you're a 7000 series GPU owner. You might get some pretty good performance out of them, but your mileage might vary. Let me know if you're using the drivers and if you're enjoying them. I'm sticking to the vanilla ones at the moment, and that's going to do it for this one, guys. So thanks very much for watching. Big hello to all our new subscribers out there. Stick around for the next video, because we'll be fixing a laptop in the next computer, something a little bit different for computer games hardware. Anyway, I've really enjoyed making this one for you guys, so I'll keep making them if you keep watching them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.